Well, I'm back after a rather long hiatus. I was working overseas. Sometimes you actually have to work to make money to support the magic habit. You know how it is. So, got messing around with some budget decks online. Didn't like them. And realized the money I spent messing around with budget decks, I could upgrade my Red Riding Rat and see if we can get a little better performance out of it by doing a non-budget version. So this is what I come up with. The land base, Dragon Skullscream enters the battlefield, tapped unless you swamp or mountain. They come in untapped all the time. We exchange the Smoldering Ruins for Blood Crypts. We went with Shocks. So we consistently play everything untapped. And that's really what we need. We need to play this deck, has to play in curve. Picked up some on-color fetches, single mountain. And the reason why we've dropped all our mountains is because, again, we picked up the Bloodstained Mires so they can act as red sources. Sometimes we do need, if we need to fetch out a non-shock red source, we can fetch out our mountain. Another upgrade we did was Mutavault. Mutavault becomes a 2/2 creature. All creature types on the turn, it's still land. Okay. The main advantage, it works with two things. It works with Pack Rat. You can make it into a Pack Rat, make it into a rat. It pumps the Pack Rats. It's a creature land, a 2/2, but it does pump the Pack Rats. And even if it can make itself a rat without any other mana, of course it can't attack, but it can do it. So you can use an instant speed pump. Pretty handy. To offset the fact is this deck is really needs heavily colored mana, because if you look at the Demigod of Revenge, it's 5 red or black. We stuck in a singleton of Urborg, Tomb of the Yawgmoth. So we're 23 lands, 4 Blood Crypts, 4 Bloodstains, 4 Dragon Skulls, a single mountain, 3 Mutavaults, 6 Swamp, and 1 Urborg. So we do run enough black sources, especially that even if we do get hit by Blood Moon, I don't foresee it being that big a deal. We'll just make sure we get a couple swamps. We've got the land, 23 lands. We need to consistently get to 5 mana. I think 23 is where we need to be. If we flood out, lots of discard ways, just like the old one, so we can discard land, not a big deal. 11 1-drops. The deck, you should be hitting a 1-drop just about every single time. Starting with, instead of the 4 set, we're gone on 3 Bloodsoaked Champions, mainly because we've added Gravecrawlers. And we'll get to that. So Bloodstoke Champion, Recursion, 1-drop, can't block. The Raid's handy. So if we pitch it and we've attacked, we can bring it back. Crypt Breaker, another upgrade. We needed a more consistent or reusable discard outlet. It's a little slower, but we got the advantage of tap 3, untap the zombies you control. You draw a card, lose 1 life. So we're actually running 8 main deck zombies. We may not always be able to draw a card, but it is an option. So it kind of works out for us. Odd time we will pull a card out, and it's great. Otherwise, it's just a discard outlet. And, you know, this deck, if we don't get our disc outlets, we're in trouble, right? We're a really bad beatdown deck otherwise. We need the value. It's a value-added beatdown deck. If we don't get the value added, we don't win. Then we move to Gravecrawler. This seems to be one of the bigger upgrades. 2/1, just like Bloodstoke Champion. You may cast Gravecrawler from your graveyard as long as you control a zombie. We have 8 main deck zombies. The ability to make more, we need to draw cards, helps us draw cards, helps us recur it. It just seems to fit really well in this shell. We move to 2-drops. Now, the 2-drops, Asylum Visitor, 3/1, draws cards sometimes. Again, like Crypt Breaker, it can draw cards, not often, but it has that ability. Mainly, it's a Madness 2. Gives you 3 power for 2 mana, which is a pretty good return, and gives us card advantage. If we're discarding it, it's straight-up card advantage, right? Whether you're discarding it to draw a card with Smuggler's Copter, or discard it to make a 2/2. You know, if we can, for 4 mana, discard Asylum Visitor, make 2 power zombie, a 3 power vampire. We get 5 power with the potential for drawing cards for 4 mana. It's slightly above the curve, and we can live with that. It's an incremental gain, and we can win with incremental gains. And then Pack Rat. If they don't answer Pack Rat, a few turns you lose. You just keep discarding whether you're advantage or not. You're going to discard and just make them so big. Works with the Mutavault to pump them up just like it did in Standard, Thero Standard. Great card. Best card of the deck, Smuggler's Copter. Definitely modern playable. It has to find the right home. It gives every creature haste. It's flying, it's got evasion. It just needs the right home. We move up to the pseudo 3-drops. Yes, we can hard cast them, but they're all single drop Madness cards. So we got 6. We used to have 8, but we've trimmed back a little bit because I found having those extra 1-drops that recur, we can use them for discard, and we can use them for crewing. I think it just smooths the deck out a little bit more because if we get a board wipe, we want to be able to get the stuff back and I'll accrue the copter. Yes, we can cast the 3 drops, but again, they're 1 drop. The deck actually is really low to the ground, but we do need the higher mana count for the Demigod of Revenge. And this gives us that reach out of nowhere, whether it's just a straight 5/4 hasty flyer out of our hand, or whether it's bringing back its buddies from the graveyard, and it is uncounterable reach. If they counter it, it goes on the stack, it goes in the graveyard, their abilities on the stack, and then it and all its buddies come right back out of the graveyard. So it's uncounterable, 5 mana, 5 in the air with flying, with evasion, damage. So it gives this deck that punch when you need it. It can close out a game in a hurry. Dark Withering. Yes, 6 mana for an instant is bad, but destroy target non-black creature for a madness of 1 is good. It does a lot of what we need it to do for 1 mana and card advantage. So again, if we're making a zombie or if we're looting, it's card advantage. We're trying to build incremental card advantage while still maintaining aggressive pace to close a game out. So it does work in our deck. So the whole point of this deck, again, if you watch the older videos, is to keep pushing, getting card advantage, pushing the damage through. Lots of evasion, lots of ways of doing it. Go to our sideboard. Bit of push. A little bit better now. We got some fetches, a little bit more control. Thoughtseize for our combo decks. Same with Collective Brutality, combo, and Burn. Big Game Hunter. Kills the big stuff. And we get a 1/1 body that can crew the Smuggler's Copter. Pretty handy. Blow lands up. Tron. Let's be honest. That's what it's there for. Shattering Spree. Destroy target artifact. Rep. You want to blow a few of them up. Again, for affinity. Any deck that kind of likes its artifacts. And then a couple pieces of Graveyard Hate. Now he'll Spell Bomb. Is this deck a big upgrade? It kind of feels like it is. We're going to take it into the 2-man queues. We'll play for some play points and see if we can increase our play point total. And we'll see how we run. With any luck, we'll score a few wins, and we'll see you in a bit.